What's up, beautiful people? Jay here from Jay's Way, and welcome to episode 3 of the Etsy Shop project. In this episode, we're going to be designing the logo and getting some branding in order before we start listing any actual products. And yes, we're opening with t-shirts first because it's something we just do really well. We both know how to design for it, and if there's anything I'd stress when getting into online selling, it's doing something in a niche you know. If you're new here, welcome, welcome. Glad to have you follow along. I'm Jay, and I've done well enough in my online t-shirt selling days over the years to want to help others get a side hustle started so that you too can maybe have a little more control over your time and maybe one day quit that crappy day job of yours and have the freedom to do more of what you want to do with your time instead of making someone else rich. So after this video, don't click off it now because YouTube algorithm doesn't like that, but after this video, make sure to watch the first 2 episodes so you know exactly what the Etsy Shop project is all about. The nice thing about this is that while these episodes will be in the order we usually start a shop in, they're also sort of self-contained chunks of info that you can really watch in any order you want. So Stacy and I just got back from a 2-week trip to Belize to visit some friends and get some inspiration for the shop. We beach bummed around, planted a couple coconut palms, and all we could do was envision living there. As a mindset strategy, it was all the motivation you need to come home and get shit done. The whole MO behind this is basically like get shipwrecked, don't send help. You intentionally want to be marooned in paradise sort of thing. So this is what we're doing here. So we've got a couple of words here. This is kind of how my workflow goes. I just put all my inspiration on one Illustrator file. It's how I work. You can use any of the other apps like the Canvas of the world, but this is kind of like how I do my thing. This is the first idea that Stacy drew of what could be a logo. So like the I was a bit of a palm tree here. The D, a shipwrecked pirate ship of some sort, and that's a shark fin. We got to figure out how to make this logo something that would be somewhat timeless, but still kind of convey that message where we want to be stranded in paradise. Please don't send help. We are totally content with being shipwrecked. I'll post a link below. I've got a subscription to Shutterstock here. These are the kinds of things that I like to use for inspiration. I'll download this stuff, toy around with it, expand on it. The idea here is to put together a bunch of ideas that could potentially work as a logo. What else we got? Shipwreck. Let's try that. Okay, so we got some stuff here. Command X, Command W, Command V to paste. Now I'll just back out so we can see. Okay, so they're all pasted there. I'm just going to hold Shift to make sure everything is constrained. Otherwise, if you don't hold Shift, everything gets distorted. And this is some of the stuff I was using before for the EtsyShopProject.com, which you can see here. So we've got the various subscription things, which helps me to be able to give back to you guys. You can subscribe for as little as $1 a month or a one-time thing. If you wanted to donate 15 bucks, for example, you could just sign up for the 15 a month and then cancel. It'll help because we're going to have to pay for subscriptions for this kind of stuff, trademarks, all that stuff. So you can see the blue and the white and the yellow here. I think those are the kind of colors we're going to go with. They're oranges and blues are complementary colors. I like the idea of the piratey stuff, but we do want to keep it alluring for everyone. Don't want to get too dark. Got to make sure we do something a little bit different for sure. So the rule of thumb with logos is that it's always been a good idea to have it look good in 1 or 2 colors, like a single color, like white on black or black on white. And that was traditionally because back in the day, and I think it's pretty much just doctors and realtors who still use them, but fax machines were a real thing. And your logo had to look good and still be legible if faxed. So if you had like a blend of colors, it may not translate well when you change it to a black and white kind of thing, right? It'll get all muddy, it'll be all shades of gray. So to have utmost contrast, you definitely wanted to have white on black or black on white or something, you know, with high contrast. So that's something I've just always kept in the back of my head when designing logos. And it also works doubly well when you are doing any kind of screen printing or anything like that, because if you have a 1 or 2 color logo, you can screen print a bunch of t-shirts for a very minimal fee. 1 color prints, doesn't matter what color even. You can just do them all 1 color on a solid color background and you'll make a lot of money because you can get them done cheaply. All right, what's up, folks? Day 2 of the logo build here, and as you can see, this is where I left off last night. Okay, so what I thought, I was making some progress here according to Stacy's initial concepts here. She, as the art director, basically kiboshed the idea here. She says it's a little too messy, not refined enough, needs to be bolder, something like this stuff up here. It's great that way, because I think a lot of times in terms of how a designer, from a designer perspective, I've been a graphic designer for over 20 years, and Stacy comes with a spin that is more of the consumer perspective, which is ultimately what matters, right? At the end of the day, you need to kind of have that consumer-centric perspective. Back to the drawing board here, the black outline, there it is, popping up as I make it bigger. So this is kind of where I was going. She says this doesn't look enough like a boat. If it's too trivial for her to spot, then it's definitely going to be too difficult for any potential customers to spot as well. Stacy's idea is to have like the get be the organic part, and then this could be kind of more bold, as in shipwrecked, to give it kind of more of some punch. That'll be still too organic. We want to keep it friendly for sure, but not too child-centric. I do love Futura. I've used it almost everywhere for well over 10 years, pretty solid now. The nice thing here is that I can always go to Creative Fabrica, and I'll link to it in the comments and description below. It's a great resource to quickly find fonts that could work. I tend to be conservative with this stuff, and Stacy is usually pretty experimental and kind of goes for it, so I just want to make sure that I try to step outside of my typical classic graphic designer box. I have a feeling I'm going to like this one. It looks playful, but definitely bold. I think we might have a winner here. Dragons now. There's the regular, and then there's this one that's got these cool little cuts in it, which I think adds a lot of character. I really like that. It almost makes it seem like it's wooden shaped, sort of boat feel in a way, without looking too cartoony or anything like that. This might be the time where I call Stacy to come check and see what's going on, because I'm not sure which one to move forward with. I don't like this one. So this is kind of where I was thinking, right? Mm-hmm. That sort of thing, but you still think that's too organic, right?
Yeah, I want a thicker font.
I kind of like this because it's got those little nicks in it to make it look kind of like boards would, sort of, but without looking too cartoony. I wasn't sure if any of these did anything for you, but I got this far and I said maybe I should get Stacy to take a look, because I'm going to get to something and she's going to say, nah, I don't like it. Right?
True. Yeah, I just think I like a thicker font. Hi, honey.
Oh, hi, Tonka. You gonna come say hi, Bubs? I think my dog just farted. Say hi, Tonka. Come here, buddy. Come here. Oh, good boy. Look, what's this? Look right here, what's this? It's my big boy, Tonka. He walks around, snores, and farts. Right? I know. You're a good boy. Etsy's been doing well. You can kind of see that there. Vella, that's good news. Vella is a great tool too for bulk editing your stuff on Etsy. You can save profiles and stuff. And now they've even introduced the ability to take listings from Etsy, those profiles that you create in Vella, and use them to create listings and profiles on other websites like the Shopify's and Amazon's and stuff like that. Been in the works for a while. Just got an update. Excited to check that out. So I kind of like what we're doing here, but we'll have to see what Stacy says. This is what I sent to Stacy last night, and she kind of went over and did some changes. We talked them through. Ultimately over-designed it all. Something I do, and I actually preach a lot about not doing. A lot of stuff is easier said than done. So it's hard to separate my over-designing sometimes from what actually needs to happen, and that is knowing when done is done enough. I preach this stuff when it comes to merch by Amazon as well, because you don't need to create Picasso's pieces of fine art. It has to be good enough to get the message across, in a bold and unique way. And over-designing something can actually hurt. It becomes too confusing, too many points of focus, and you want to keep it clear and concise. This is what Stacy sent back. She says, put this as script or lowercase. It was too rough, distracting from the design itself. We're going to get rid of this. A regular I instead of the palm tree. They were kind of pulling and playing against each other. Upper letters with lighter with darker background shadow. More waves. The rationale here is quite literally that if the ocean was this calm, there wouldn't have been a shipwreck necessarily, so I get it, makes sense. Don't send help, we will eliminate that. It will look good on a t-shirt as a catchphrase, I'm sure. We will use it, just not in the shop logo. 1 and 2 colors, blue, more contrast between the two, totally agree. So let's go apply these changes here. The other thing with the Jolly Roger, which is what the skull and crossbones actually called, is that we don't want to make this necessarily piratey. It's just about getting shipwrecked in paradise. So that's kind of where we need to remain focused. We can always have a piratey centric line or something like that. Some designs in different categories that are all falling under the shipwrecked umbrella. But it's important not to alienating customers by adding a rum bottle. Some people don't like any references to alcohol. This is what Stacy redrew. So more waves for sure. You can see that it's a ship and then it starts to get wrecked, which makes sense. It's like the onomatopoeia, the pow, the sock, the words that represent sounds and actions. I am going to screenshot this, send it to Stacy, and use the art director and see what she has to say. And hopefully it's not a complete redo again. All right, here we are, day 3, going on the Get Shipwrecked logo here. So I sent this over to Stacy yesterday, and we kind of talked about it. And while we were watching a couple more episodes of Black Sails, because I've seen it before, but it's an awesome show. This is what she sent back to me by the time the first episode was done. She took this and decided to change it into this. I kind of get where she's going with it. Makes sense. Ship and then wreck, but this is more prominent. It's a ship rolling up on rough seas there and hammering into the island. I like it. Pain in my butt, but I like it. And enter the next time-lapse series of me doing more designing. Okay, I think that does it. Gotta pass it to the art director now and see what she has to say. Wish me luck. Alright, so I sent this off to the art director and she liked it. See, right there, she hearted it. So she likes it. That's it, we're done, finally, which is great. So now, all I have to do is go and edit, I don't know, 7 hours of logo design work. I think that turned out great. Let me know what you guys think, but I'm pretty stoked about it. I can see that going on tags. Happy. So stay tuned for the next one where we do the color charts and size charts for the Bella and Canvas 3001. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you in episode 4.